I've got big goals both on the roads and the trails in the next 6 months, so right now my training is adapted to try to work on both of those. Here's a typical weekend in my life, starting on Friday, going through some key things that I'm doing to optimize performance both on the trails and the road. This training block, I've really decided to focus on lifting. The last couple of years, I've kind of let lifting fall by the wayside. I'm blessed with the ability to gain muscle really fast, which is great, but at the same time, when I've lifted in the past, I've gained a ton of weight really fast, and that hasn't directly benefited my running. So this time I'm trying to be very intentional with the exercises I do and make sure all of them benefit uphill mountain running directly. As you can see in these videos, I'm focusing a lot on compound movements that primarily work multiple muscle groups all at the same time. I usually hit high weight, low reps to get a different stimulus than what you're going to experience out on the trails while you're running up a mountain. Today I'm doing a long trail run, looking for like 16 to 18 miles, hoping for about 4,000 feet of gain. We're probably gonna hit a few peaks in the Salt Lake area. Here's the nutrition setup. I don't know how long this is gonna take, could be out there for a while, so bring in 4 carbs gels, a NAC salt and maple, Precision 30 with 100 milligrams of caffeine, bottle of Morton, and then 2 bottles of water, as well as some electrolyte tabs. Since the mountain and sub-ultra trail races I'm doing are in the shorter, more near term, I've been making Saturday kind of my primary long run workout. And in this video, you'll see me and Nick grinding out in the Salt Lake foothills. We hit 5,000 feet of climbing on this run in about 15 miles. So a lot of really steep stuff. We hit Mount Van Cott, Mount Wire, and Red Butte, and then added on some extrovert with a little living room lap. One thing that's kind of hard is when you do get this kind of elevation gain, it takes quite a bit of time. We were out there for over 2.5 hours, and like I said, we only hit 15 miles. You can't really worry too much about mileage when you're trying to focus so heavily on vert. So what becomes a lot more important is the elevation gain you get on a run like this. Saturday's long run was super solid, and I'm very happy with how training has been going right now. Karina and I went to the hot tub to recover from our long runs, and then we went out for a Mexican dinner after that. Today we're doing a long road run, nothing special about it, just trying to cruise low 6s, kind of a nice supplement to the mountain training. This is keeping the road legs fresh and getting a good aerobic workout in. Sunday's weather sucked, but we grinded out, got it done, hit 15 miles on the roads and averaged about 6:20 pace for it, with the middle 13 being faster and the first and last mile being kind of warm up, cool down miles. My mom sent us a really awesome set for baking these flour cookies, so we cooked them after our runs on Sunday. I've got a really busy racing schedule this summer up through Chicago. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it up on the screen. There's a lot of variety in these trail races, actually. Stuff like the Twisted Fork 15K, it's sub-ultra, but it doesn't have a lot of climbing. I think that's gonna be a super fast trail race. I'm almost debating wearing super shoes for that. And then races like Snowbird, Cirque Series, those are super technical and just a completely different beast. So training for both of those in and of itself is requiring different types of workouts, and then throw me wanting to run a fast Chicago Marathon in October on the end of that, and it makes kind of for an interesting training plan creation. This weekend shows a pretty basic concept of how I'm treating two of my bigger workouts for the week. So like I said, Saturday is when I'm really focusing on gain, focusing on putting forth like good solid effort on a lot of climbing. And then Sunday is where I'm getting more of a steady state road run in. And I obviously don't want to hurt myself or do anything too crazy. So Sunday's long run is really kind of an afterthought compared to Saturday's high vert, lot of climbing long run. And when the summer gets later, like come July, I'm going to swap it so that I'm doing like a marathon workout on Saturday. So that would be something like 4x2 mile or 3x5K in the middle of a long run. And I want that pace to be my goal marathon pace. I'm not going to throw a goal time out for what I want to run at Chicago yet. I have a time in my head that I think is realistic, and it's pretty ambitious, but I think it's doable for myself. But I also don't want to be clickbaity and say I'm going to run this super fast time. I know what I want to run, and I think that's enough for me. I don't need to be putting it on YouTube. For workouts right now, I'm typically doing one midweek workout with trying to get a lot of volume during the week as well on trail, getting as much vert as I can. But usually the workout I do is on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'm doing uphill repeats. So like an example I did 2 weeks ago was I did 4x5 minute uphill with 2-minute rest. And the 5-minute sections are hard. The 2 minutes are basically just standing rest. And then after that's done, so I'm doing that continuously up a mountain, I tempo down the mountain back to the starting point, because downhill running is also super important. Last week I was in Detroit for work. Obviously there aren't mountains out there, so I did a 4-mile tempo instead for my workout, and then supplemented some of my easy days with some uphill treadmill running, which it's fine, but I really miss being able to get out and run on the trails, so it's good to be back. I picked all these races for a few reasons. First being, I really want to get better at climbing. I've said it before, but I think that right now, that is one of my weak points, and I'm getting better at it. I'm working really hard at it. I think the lifting that I'm doing, twice a week, high weight, low rep, I think that's going to help a lot with climbing. But really, if you want to get good at climbing, you need to climb a lot. And so that's why I'm getting out every Saturday, hitting these high vert runs, trying to get a lot of vert in my weekday runs and working on that. The other part is that I need to just get better at racing. Like, I think that what's been killing me so hard is that I only have a few races a year because they're so long, and I get all worked up and nervous before them, and then I can't eat anything, and I'm struggling with vomiting during the race. By doing these 5 sub-ultra races this summer, I kind of just need to get used to racing, get used to feeling that level of pain and pushing myself really hard, and getting used to the pre-race nerves. So I'm hoping that by putting myself through those 5 races, I get better at dealing with like the race day prep and the lead up to the race mentally. And really the big reason is that I just love racing. Like, as much as it makes me nervous and whatever, I love being out there and seeing what I can get out of myself on the day. So that's why I wanted to do all these sub-ultra races. It's kind of nice because with like racing 100K, you can only do a few of those a year. You're not going to race 5 100Ks in a single summer. But doing half marathon and shorter is great because you can basically do those every weekend if you want to for mountain racing. So that's the other thing too, is I'm just taking the opportunity to do what I love. At the end of the day, this is a hobby. It's something that makes me really happy. I'm not getting paid for this or anything. So if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. And that's kind of the mentality I'm trying to take into these races is this is what I like doing. This is my passion. So why not go out there and just have fun and see what I can do?